This is Frontline News, Weekend Edition with Brent Clark. Today's episode is called Who is in the Hot Seat? Oh, well, let's see about that. I suppose y'all heard a couple nights ago about Biden's hometown meeting. You ever heard that he avoided talking about Afghanistan, Hunter Biden's laptop? You see, Teddy Roosevelt would condemn such an age as this when politicians on both sides of the aisle are going to hide the truth and avoid talking, somewhat controversial. Now, I don't think old Teddy meant to be reactive. No, I don't think so. I'm recording over here on I'm over at JR's ranch. He ain't doing so good today, and so what we're going to do is give him a good rest. Jimmy's going to take over his show today, I think. And so with that, it's a madhouse the way this reactive culture is through social media. Trump is trying to get a cancel-free social media thing. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. And in Forbes magazine, okay, don't get me wrong, I trust Forbes magazine, but I hardly think of anything that Trump ever did business-wise was a disaster. Yeah, he failed. But that's a problem with our reactive culture. That's the problem with our reactive culture. It don't want people to make mistakes. It's punish people who are cheap. It punish people for making mistakes. It's kind of like can't do anything. Now, can't say can't win or anything, or Jimmy won't let me use this lovely computer to access the conservative news. He's trying to exit out the Spreaker. We're trying to get out of the Spreaker app. All right. We're going to conservative news. Let's see what we can get into today. I'd like to zip on over to Newsmax. I gotta say, Newsmax magazine is one of the best. Obama stumps for McAuliffe in race seen as referendum on Biden. Yeah, that's because it is. You see, McAuliffe and that Garland fellow there, the dude that says Attorney General for President Biden, they're saying that critical race theory ain't being taught in Virginia. I'd like to know where in Washington, D.C. that dude lives and what kind of attorney he is. Because if he's living in Virginia as a citizen of Virginia and going to Washington, D.C., and he says it ain't being taught, then either he's stupid and informed or he's a liar. All right? Let's talk about standard code for decency and honesty. And Obama is telling me, well, that's only natural. Nothing said about that. Here's one. China's 10-cent cancels Boston Celtics game after Kelsey's critical tweet. We ain't even covering that, okay? We ain't even covering that because that's a no-no. Jimmy and JR would get very angry. Come on, you can't tell me that that's all that they're going to cover. Fine, we'll go ahead and go over to the Federalist. I love Newsmax, but I'm not going to quote it. I'm not going to make any news deals about social media. NSBA apologizes for working with Biden administration to target parents as domestic terrorists. Well, let's see if I really believe it. Because right now, we got Biden in the hot seat. We got McAuliffe in the hot seat. And we got this school board association. So we're going to go ahead and go over to this. I'm going to read a few paragraphs and what can I say? All right. The National School Boards Association has apologized for a letter that Attorney General Merrick Garland used to target parents as domestic terrorists. Now look, I was born in 74. I'm a Gen X cat. As far as I know, I raised my kids. And they know where their bread is buttered. They know to go reach for their Bible. They know to go for honesty and decency. And that's something that's wrong in this country right now. Seriously. We got corruption at the highest court. Now let's see what this school board said. We regret and apologize for the letter that NSBA said in a memorandum sent to members on Friday. To be clear, the safety of school board members, other public school officials, and educators and students is our top priority. And there remains important work to be done on this issue. However, there was no justification for some of the language included in the letter. No justification. Just a memo. Just a blanket statement. Come on, guys. I know public affairs. I know public relations. I know political relations. They could have easily had someone make a memo and a press statement. Oh no, I forgot. Reactive press won't cover it. Possibly on both sides of the aisle. Think about that. I love reporting the news, but the news has got to have a link of truth. Okay. Yeah, we're swaying a little bit more towards conservative issues. Sometimes libertarians, but then, there we go. So now we're going to go back. Maybe it's this one. Taxation. Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. New immigration numbers prove Biden border crisis is worse than history. I think that's statement enough. Okay. Americans want to watch prices go down, not Biden on CNN. Oh boy. Communist News Network. That's what I call it. Get mad at me all you want. YouTube might block me, I don't know. But here we go. President Joe Biden joined Anderson Cooper on CNN for another one of those gimmicky town halls on Thursday night. And it turns out only a few people watched. You know, James Hendrick Empowerment keeps touch of the statistics for our podcast show. Ratings are important. Now listen, I don't think ratings are the end-all be-all though. But Jimmy wants to check and see which shows got the downloads. I think I heard him say that we were pretty high, but we don't know. Here's the thing, guys. Here's what you need to understand. Here's what's lacking in the American government, American politics. And sadly, it's been lacking for quite some time. Common sense. Alright? Common sense. That's what's lacking. Listen to me. Jimmy wanted to do a news podcast. And he started one that was a decent one back in 2020. But the COVID thing was so overwhelming that he just quit. Well, here's Frontline News. Let's see what our ratings have been. They're up. Well, they went down recently, but we had 80% listenership. Well, looks like we got 80% listenership on the 4th of October. So we'll see what happens here, but not to be reactive. This show ain't necessarily based on ratings. This show is based on truth. And if our ratings are low, because if we, they are. But if our ratings are low because we report the truth, well, no need to apologize. Hey, JR, they like to apologize, isn't it? When we have a lack of common sense in our government. Lack of common sense in our life. And let me tell you something. What Brent says is the truth. We're gonna get some music going for you soon enough. Yeah. Brent, go ahead. You know, I'm sure that town hall meeting was not very popular. And I know Rob Carson of Newsmax did a little compelling view of it, but well, I just got to say, we We want a proactive culture in those.